What's going on, guys? So everyone's like buzzing right now on X or Twitter or Bird app or whatever you want to call that messaging service that comes from Elon and those guys. So they just got a big approval across the US as essentially a money transmitter, crypto licensing, trading, moving these things around. Everyone seems pretty shocked. This is a big deal because we were talking about this like late last year. So I think if people want to know what's going on here, just go look at WeChat. Like Elon's talked about this multiple times. It just never really seemed to like kind of hit into the zeitgeist and the mainstream. I, I think WeChat was always the point. I think that a payment system was always the point. There's a couple of really interesting data points that if you look at WeChat, so like from a Western lens, Americans, we don't have anything quite like WeChat. So there's a couple of clips of Elon touching on this.
For those that have used WeChat, I think WeChat's actually a good model. If you're in China, it's basically, you kind of live on WeChat. It does everything. It's sort of like Twitter plus PayPal plus a whole bunch of other things and all roll into one with actually a great interface. And it's really an excellent app. And we don't have anything like that outside of China. I think it's important for content creators to have a revenue share. Now this does not need to be done on Twitter. It could be done from something that's created from scratch. So it could be something new. So really, but I think this thing needs to exist, whether it is converting Twitter to be the sort of like kind of all-encompassing app that, like I said, everything from digital town square where important ideas are debated, maximally trusted and inclusive, and at a point where you sort of have a high trust situation, then payments, whether it's crypto or fiat, can make a lot of sense.
It's a big deal there. So this was a couple years back, and it's just meant to be kind of an indicator for how big a deal WeChat is in China. One, there are over 700 million users, like probably close to 1 billion at this point. The other is they asked users of WeChat when there was an issue between WeChat and Apple. Basically, if it came down to it, would you choose your iPhone or WeChat? Over 90% said WeChat. Man, you couldn't pry an iPhone out of half the users' hands. So the idea that you had, 90% sort of just majority on anything is insane. But against an iPhone, that tells you how big a deal WeChat is in China. Now, again, the pro is WeChat's awesome. It's useful. Centralization has a lot of benefits. The downside is we saw WeChat be used for health reasons. We'll leave it at that. I'm sure most people can kind of connect 2 and 2 and get to 4 there. But the point is, again, this will be a massive route to see more adoption into crypto, other payment rails. Maybe we'll see how this connects with like FedNow. So I think that we'll see that payment rails are a bigger and bigger deal, not only because essentially a lot of the people don't understand, a lot of the US infrastructure was actually very, very poor. But the other is payment rails are also a challenge to crypto, right? So we've kind of said this for a while. One of crypto's biggest challenges now is it's useful, we get it. It's not going to zero, we get it. The next and sort of kind of, I think the final boss is how does it deal with CBDCs and this new variations of payment rails like FedNow. So we have to make crypto good enough that it can sort of operate in parallel. And this will be a big challenge here. So we'll see how Elon handles this. They are going to bring a lot of adoption. I think some people are thinking that he's going to, throw on Doge or throw on XYZ and pump a bunch of bags. I think it'll be a net positive, but I think it's much more likely that it's, he's even said it. He's basically forking WeChat. So I think it's much more likely that it's a fork of WeChat, that we see fiat payments, emphasized, and that similar to like, Cash App and things we see now, there's, a sprinkling of some crypto aspects in the background. This is a big one. Like we're seeing more and more changing of how people understand and interact with finances here. So whether it's crypto, again, we see WeChat in sort of the Asian markets, how we see X play out in the American markets. People are getting a better idea of this. So there's going to be a battleground of some stance, and shades of gray on where X goes are going to give us big indications of where we're going. So this is something to pay attention to. A lot of us have been championing this since late last year. I think that people should, again, go before, if you have any opinions on this, if you find this stuff interesting, go do some looking at WeChat. If you're an American, Australian, UK, if you can understand the words coming out of my mouth, you probably haven't seen enough of WeChat to see how absolutely enveloped Chinese culture is around WeChat. So check that out. Get back at me. Let me know what you think about where you see these payment systems go? How involved do you think crypto is going to be? Is it going to pump Doge? This is a really important topic for crypto, not only because it's important for crypto, but because the masses will care. If crypto does something and it's in X, this is something that we can reach out to the mainstream. I think we should really latch onto this as an opportunity. Influencers, the different personalities in crypto. This is important. This is a chance to interact and engage with a market that does not usually listen to us. We should take this seriously, pay attention. Let me know what you guys think. Really, really pay attention to what we see with X and WeChat.